This show is powered by BL3P, the Lightning-enabled European Bitcoin exchange.
Connect the build.
Jose Lemus, CEO, IBEX Guatemala.
I was naturally born with laser eyes.
No.
An ibex is any of several species of wild goat, distinguished by the male's large curved horns, which are transversely ridged in front. This wonderful animal is always searching for new heights. Did you choose the name for your company because Bitcoin is searching for new heights too?
Yes.
Bloodwork is a 1997 mystery thriller novel written by Michael Connolly, which marks the first appearance of Terry McCaleb. The character McCaleb later returns in A Darkness More Than Night. Did you also like the movie with Clint Eastwood, produced in only 38 days?
No.
Thomas Edwards Patrick Brady Jr. is an American football quarterback for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers of the National Football League, NFL. He has won a record 7 Super Bowl titles and a record 5 Super Bowl MVPs, both being the most by a player in the NFL. Do you think he's the greatest quarterback of all time?
Yes.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is a 2019 comedy drama written and directed by Quentin Tarantino. Are you aware it's the first Tarantino film not to involve Bob and Harvey Weinstein?
Yes.
Do you speak one of the Mayan languages?
No.
Did you have the chance to swim in Lago de Titilan, also known as Lago Bitcoin?
Atitlan, yes.
In May 2013, Daft Punk released their 4th studio album, Random Access Memories. One of the best rated tracks, Giorgio by Moroder, was a collaboration with Hans-Jörg Moroder. Did you know that the monologue at the beginning of the track was the only thing that Giorgio or Hansberg contributed to the track?
Yes.
Will Guatemala be the next country to adopt Bitcoin as a legal tender?
No.
Are you Satoshi Nakamoto?
No.
Welcome to the Connect the World weekly podcast. I'm Edward.
And I'm Stef. We are ready to take you with us into the beautiful world of the Lightning Network.
Enjoy the ride. Estamos en episodio 41 de Connect the World. Stef, ¿qué tal?
Buen días.
Gracias,
Eduardo,
gracias. Geweldig.
Everything is fine here, Edward. I'm in your homeland, man. I'm in Spain.
I see the palm trees, amazing. Yeah, and the sun, of course. So
and the sun and the sea. I don't know if you can see the sea.
In the far away, the sea. Yeah, there on the left. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yesterday there were some jellyfish. So not in the morning because we always went to go out to the beach in the morning. But when we came back in the evening, there were some jellyfish, and I hate jellyfish. So. It was a very small visit to the beach in the afternoon. But and how are you doing, Edward?
Then you can't swim. Oh man, this week was just very busy, and we've been also to Amsterdam a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
And of course, normally you were there too, but this time it was minus you. And I've been there with Ramon, and we had also the anniversary of Bitonic. Which has...
I missed the party, man.
Yeah, the party was really
so
great. 10 years, they exist 10 years. And they had a documentary about all the lifespan of Bitonic. And it was
nice.
that was fun. And we also visited 2 cafes. And one we orange pilled. And that was really great. And we brought Patrick from Bitkassa to show them their solution. And we orange pilled them.
Can we say the name of? Can we say the name of the restaurant? Or
we've been
right?
to Braai Amsterdam and to Café Nassau. And it's
Yeah.
near the conference, and we're just thinking about having 2 nights in a row a meetup. That would be really great.
That would be amazing.
We're busy with that, and if we know more, then we'll let everybody know, of course.
Nice,
Yeah.
man. Busy week, and I saw that the NFC cards also arrived to the office.
Yeah, indeed.
Right?
That was another thing we did. It was a combined effort with the team of the Daily Moon and Connect the World, and especially Yvette and Slaapjehoofd did a lot of work for it. Still are doing the work, but we received the cards, so they're here. We only need to technically finalize it. And they're all powered by LM Bits. So, and a big thanks also to the guys from Satsback, because they sponsored everything. So they made it possible.
But where are we going to use the cards, Edward? What can we do with it?
We're going to use it at the conference. That would be nice, but that's also due to the possibilities there. But I think we can use it there. And we want to use it also at our meetup. So we're busy with that. That would be great. And then we can use our own NFC card, right?
Yeah, so you can pay with Lightning using just a
tap.
Like a credit card, just a tap. So
very easy. And I think we showed, I don't know for sure, but we made the pilot cards without a design on it. And the design is really great. So everybody's seen it, I think. Yeah, it was on Twitter already. And at front is Connect the World with the QR code for more information. And the back is the design of Satsback. So,
So if you are at the conference, when you see us, then you have to hit us up, and maybe we have a card for you. Yeah. So you can use it there to hopefully pay for a beer, right?
Yeah.
Or some food or
That will be terrific, right? Using your own card to buy for beer. So yeah,
man.
Look us up. Yeah, and the rest of the conference is attached to IBEX Mercado, so you can pay with their solution. Also with the card, that would be great.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
There are a lot of initiatives, and this one was really fun. Oh, and we also needed. We shared the notes of the podcast Satoshi Radio in the Netherlands, and we now built our own node. It's run on Raspberry Blitz, and we had some technical stuff done also by Hakuna from Tunnel Sets. So a big thanks to them, to Hakuna and Osito. And what we're going to do is run our own node to have those cards working. And if somebody wants to help us with more inbound liquidity, we'll put the link to the node in the show notes.
Please open some channels.
Yeah, well, Stef, you can open the channel from where you
Spain.
are now. Yeah, from Spain.
Yeah, could be. Hey, but what is Tunnel Sets? Can you maybe explain it? What
of course.
You guys do with Tunnel Sets?
Tunnel Sets, it's a VPN service and for your Lightning node, and you can pay with it with Lightning. So you can pay the VPN service with Lightning, and it enables hybrid mode for your Lightning node in a very simple way to run it on ClearNet and Tor. Connectivity without hassle, and you don't expose your home IP. So that's important, of course. And our solution is a little bit different, but TunnelSats is really the way to go. It's easy and it works perfect. So yeah, great.
Nice. And you already mentioned IBEX Mercado, but who do you have on the show, Edward?
This time. No. We have Jose Lemus. He's the CEO of IBEX Mercado. And we are desperate to get those questions to him, because of course he's going to be there, and I think it's really interesting to talk with him. So looking forward to it.
That's correct. And we still have 2 tickets left, right, for the giveaway?
Yeah, I've sold one the other week for a 35% discount to what's his name on Bitcoin Mind. He won the ticket, so we have 2 left, and this Friday the prices are going up. So I think it will be 400 euros. So the 35% discount from us, we will also make it bigger. So you only need to pay the 225 euros if you buy the ticket from us. We only have 2 left. So what do they need
That's
to
a
do,
really nice
Stef?
deal.
Yeah, I think it's a great deal.
They need to post a reaction under the tweet of this episode and using CTW podcast in the text as a message, and then you can win the ticket.
Yeah, and then you can go to our booth or where we're standing and get the NFC card.
if we still have one.
Yeah, that's
because,
right. They're limited.
They're limited, yes. And
Indeed.
Let's start to talk a little bit about statistics of the Lightning Network first, Edward, and about our Rings of Fire community.
Yeah, let's do that.
Connetti il mondo.
So, although I'm on vacation now, we had a pretty busy week. We added a half Bitcoin, so that's nice. So last week we had a little over 40.2 Bitcoin pushed into the Lightning Network, and this week it's 40.8. with around 1,387 members participating in over 183 rings.
Yeah, and the Lightning Network as a whole, we're now at block height 752,700. And there are 35 nodes more than last week, 17,074 nodes with 72 Bitcoin more capacity in the network. It's now 4,636.
Yes, and 1 million Satoshis is getting you $198, 200 euros, and 1,373 Chinese yuan.
Connectez le monde.
And then some highlighted news updates from last week brought to you by the Daily Moon. I have 2 interesting things to talk about and 2 updates. The first is Cubant, and it's a new player in town. Cubant is an open source and non-custodial wallet and is now available for Android. I looked it up, but not for iOS still, but for Android it is. Take a look yourself to see what's special about it. And they're also working on a point of sale solution. So that's interesting. And then Guatemala, for all those who are planning a trip, not to Spain, Stef, but to Guatemala. Visit the Lago Bitcoin project. More than 200 merchants accept their Lightning and Bitcoin payments in Guatemala. And in the show notes,
amazing.
I've added. Yeah, if you see the link, I've added a map, and you see all those merchants. It's really amazing that there are more than 200 now. So great. And then some updates. I don't know if you've checked it, Stef, but mempool.space, you know it, of course.
Yes.
Soft Simon, the CEO, announced at the Baltic Honey Badger Lightning Explorer support across mainnet, SIGNet, and testnet. So Lightning Explorer support for mempool. Also a great conference, of course. And it's now possible, thanks to this, to search Lightning nodes by their pub key. And check all statistics like channel and their capacity, channel capacity. And of course, it's always possible to run or to host the mempool on your own node to avoid censorship. And they added more features like ISP breakdown based on public IP, tag transactions for open-close channels, and geo-IP information. Yeah. So
I didn't check it, but I really love the design of it.
It looks amazing.
I really love the design, so I will definitely check
you
it out.
You also run the self-hosted mempool on your node.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. That's amazing. That's great. And then Polar, I don't know if somebody checked it already, but it's there if you want to test on the Lightning Network on a regular basis. So run Polar, go to the website, you can download the tool and run it. It's an update that they added now, not only for bug fixes, but it also supports the latest node implementations. And so for those who don't know it, it allows you to make all the dumb errors on the Lightning Network without costing you anything. So it's a development environment that you can use for it. And if somebody is using it, we're always curious about what you're using it for and what you're building. So let us know in the Connectable Telegram group. It's interesting. Yeah.
And do you want to read more and stay up to date about everything related to Lightning, the news and updates, then head over to tdm.news and follow the Daily Moon on Twitter or Telegram. And Edward will put all the links in the show notes.
Yeah.
Connect the world.
So let's have a look at the rings forecast. We balanced 2 rings last week. we had the 500k 39th ring and the 1 million Satoshis 47th ring. So let's start with the 500k. Yet another ring which is balanced because of great teamwork. Although Koryan was officially the chosen one, the gossip gods decided it was not his time yet. Luckily, Truser was willing to try it out as well, but also got some issues. And in the end, Nizata, it's the guy from Chain Code Labs, right? You had in your seminar. Managed to balance this challenging ring. And although it was not a zero-fee balance, the others paid Nizata back very quickly. So that is a real team effort. And within this ring, there were people from 6 different countries. I see Germany, I see South Africa, I see Holland, Swiss, Turkey, and Norway. So it's a nice distribution. And then we had the 1 million Satoshis 47th ring. It's really nice that our rings of fire are getting quite social activity. Since getting the rings balanced really became quite challenged. Luckily, in this ring, we had very helpful and willing members. There, Mika did his utmost best to balance the ring, but unfortunately, it seems like the stars weren't aligned correctly or something, since somehow it didn't work out for him. Fortunately, Xadium was also willing to give it a try, although at the first there were some issues. In the end, it all worked out. So great job to all, and make sure Xadium gets his fees paid back. So he also paid some fees for the transaction, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's nice.
But, I always say we will make sure that fees are paid back. That's for sure. And within this ring, there were node operators from Germany, Holland, Austria, and El Salvador.
Yeah. It's always good to emphasize, because you were talking about the distributed network, and I see you always are looking out for that all the nodes in the ring don't have yet channels with one another. So you always have a channel to a new node that you didn't connect first. So that's great.
We are now busy with opening a new 20 million Satoshis ring, so a very big Boombar channel ring. Only for the more experienced node operators. But we had someone in the ring who has already 3 channels to the other participants. So we are still looking to import some new members to make it a real ring. So with new channels and not existing channels. So we always check for that.
Yeah, that's great. So that was that again, Stef. Or Stefano. Enjoy there in Spain.
Muchas gracias, Eduardo.
De nada. Let's go to the lightning notes, man.
I will head to the beach, okay?
Yeah, of course.
Conectado Lumia.
Make sure to secure your home network. So change default passwords and use 2-factor authentication where possible. And keep your software up to date. It's also very important. Please keep in mind that the whole Lightning network is very experimental. Software like MyNode, Umbrel, Raspberry Blitz, for example, and many others, and LND also, are still in beta phase. Don't blindly run terminal commands on your node if you don't understand them yourself, and especially when prefixed with sudo. And the last one is also very important. Don't use Satoshis that you're not willing to lose. So if you're not aware of all security considerations, then read into it. Educate yourself, read articles, ask for help in Telegram groups with high reputation like ours, and listen to podcasts and learn by doing. Otherwise, don't participate.
Also, you can stay informed by following us on Twitter. You can find us at Satoshi Radio ROF. And follow our Lightning leader, Jonī Kyasshu. Join our Telegram groups, Satoshi Radio, Ring of Fire, and Connect the World. And check our website, satoshi.radio. It would be nice for you to be part of our Amboss community. You can find us there on Satoshi Radio. And like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Use Podcasting 2.0 to listen to Connect the World. And you can check SATA trading for the current value. You can find all this information, of course, also in the show notes as well.
All right, let's get on to the show.
Connetti il mondo.
Well, welcome, Jose.
Welcome.
Hey,
Buenas tardes.
Thank you very much. Buenas noches, Stef. Buenas noches, Edward.
Thank you.
Muchas
gracias. Hey, I was. You were laughing about when I asked you the question about Daft Punk with Giorgio Moroder. I heard you like Daft Punk, the music, right? It's your favorite music.
They're right up there with favorite artists, I think. I love that their albums, they do something that not a lot of people do nowadays, which is they basically write a whole album, right?
Yeah.
It's not a bunch of singles back to back to back. It's just one complete, like, you can listen to the whole thing and it makes sense.
Yeah, I totally agree. But Random Access Memories is, it's also a total different style, you know. I mean, back in the days they were totally electronic, and now with Random Access Memories they brought back that old 80s vibe. And do you also like that path they took, or are you more of the electronic?
Honestly, I think it's great. I think it's their best album out there because it wasn't just them sampling other products. They actually made like unique music that then they sampled to put together an album. And it's just, I think, two great artists at their peak.
Yeah,
I think it's a great album.
That's correct. And I didn't knew that the monologue was the only thing that Giorgio contributed. This because we searched for some nice questions for you this afternoon, and I just found out that it was. So I was like, oh, okay, I learned something too. But it's great. It's a great track, and I was my best concert I ever visited was the Alive concert by Daft Punk. It's always giving me goosebumps when I think back about it. It was in Amsterdam at the Heineken Music Hall. It was amazing. I didn't experience something like that before. It was such a great show, and I jumped the whole show. I was just jumping like a child. It was the best thing I ever saw.
It for me it was super bittersweet with the video. It jumped in my feed, Daft Punk put up a new video and it was them breaking up.
Yeah,
like
that was crazy. Yeah,
why?
Why? Something so good and nice.
Yeah.
Hey, and that question about the laser eyes, Jose, for our listeners, perhaps because you know it, I think there was a tweet with a picture where you had laser eyes. Because of the photograph, I think, and you retweeted it, so I'm going to put it in the show notes for everyone.
Oh, awesome! Yeah, that was actually, we were doing a meetup here in Miami, and I think I was next to Peter McCormack.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And Mario actually took that picture, and it, for some reason it just caught the laser eye.
No, not just for some reason, because you are...
It's a sign.
Yeah, it's a sign, man. Come on. You're building on the Lightning Network. I mean, come on.
Yeah. But to answer and further expand, I wasn't born with laser eyes. In fact, during 2017, I did my tour of duty in the shitcoin space. Absolutely. It's kind of... I think toxic maxis get a bad rap, but I think a lot of them are just people that were burned so bad by these scams that they're trying to like look out for other people, but the way they're going about it, kind of iffy,
difficult topic, right, Stef?
Yeah, but I also had my period of hard learning, I would call it. But I think what makes this Bitcoin maxi so toxic is that they want to prevent a lot of time lost, we all lost a lot of time. But I think it's a way of getting yourself through the rabbit hole. I mean, I'm happy that I took that path because now I know what I don't want, I think everyone needs to find their own path, and some of them are right through the shitcoin space, and some of them are straight through the Bitcoin, to the magic of Bitcoin, I will call it.
I wish I had been lucky enough to just find the magic straight away, but no, like I found it, but then I was enamored with this idea of everything that Ethereum and the other altcoins and alternative protocols, were saying at that time, like, listen, this is a way to also decentralize, this, that, and the other. But, this was early. Lightning wasn't even available at that point in time, because we were going through the block size wars, and we needed SegWit to actually do Lightning and that type of stuff. And then, but now I'm in a space where I realize that, at the end of the day, if we continue to scale Bitcoin in layers, kind of like we're doing right now with Lightning, Bitcoin is going to be the protocol that you need to build on. It's not, you don't need something else.
No,
that's what we also believe. Yeah. And I think for me, Lightning changed a lot about that perspective. I think for people, it's more easier to explain it. And
Are you planning to visit Bitcoin Amsterdam?
I was also thinking about it.
Because I saw you went to Miami, obviously, because you are now also in Miami. So it was like a home game for you. But are you planning to go to Amsterdam also?
Yeah, absolutely. Should be there, around the 10th of October. I believe the conference is on the 12th. So, and then I am actually speaking at the BTC UK, which we got a fair amount of shit about from the maxis.
And Christian Carolus from Bitcoin Magazine was also telling us that you will present at the conference in Amsterdam and providing Lightning infrastructure for the whole conference with IBEX Hub. And can you explain how IBEX Hub works?
Yeah, IBEX Hub is our, let's call it, enterprise solution. Or it's a set of APIs that we expose to people that want to integrate, not people, but corporations or companies that want to implement Lightning technology in their products or services. So instead of having to build out your whole Lightning infrastructure, which can get expensive and also comes with its own complexities, once you have it up and running, right? So IBEX Hub is our solution to this. So instead of having to do the whole Lightning network implementation and then put it into your products and services, you can just leverage our technology to do that in a way simpler, faster, and hopefully cheaper manner. Because we're aiming to be less expensive than what it would cost you to run it yourself.
Nice.
So in a sense, it's a lot like email. And actually, for me, email is a perfect analogy for the Lightning Network. Because first of all, to me, it's the killer app, right? Kind of like email was for the internet. Because the internet was around for a long time before, email came along, and really, but when I mean email, I don't mean the original messaging service.
No, the email we use nowadays.
Where they had to basically put in the IP and you had to craft the email to send it out. No, I mean, the more sophisticated Netscape type email experience where, it really got easy, and it was originally just leveraged by corporations and big institutions that wanted to get rid of all the internal communication wastage that they were facing, right? Because I'm old enough to remember when memos were a thing, and every company had their own memo template. And the other day I was explaining this to someone that's younger than me, and I was going through the explanation and saying, and that's why email looks the way it does, or used to, where you had the two CC, BCC memo field. And that's because that's how the memos were, right? That's why it looks that way. And he was like, really? Somebody that never ever saw one memo. But yeah, I think Lightning is that killer app, because once I'm convinced that once companies and corporations find out how much money they can save running on Lightning,
efficiency. Yeah.
The move will happen quickly, and they will be the ones that actually push the technology
adoption,
at a massive scale.
Well, I think, Stef, this is the great way to start 21 minutes,
21
right?
minutes, yeah. And we will try out ourselves because we love to use our Satoshis to pay for our goods at the conference. So really looking forward to that. Really looking forward to meet you in person also. But now, I think it's time for the 21 minutes, because you are totally warmed up, Jose. So if you guys are ready, we would really love to enter that part, guys. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
I am.
Let's do this.
Connecter le monde.
Let's start with some Lightning questions. Well, the developments on the Lightning network go at an immense rapid pace. And do you think Lightning is the key to banking the unbanked, or do we need something else for it?
I think it's part of the solution. It's not the whole solution. I think Lightning is gonna help, but it's not what we need completely. A lot of people don't know how expensive it is to bank a person, and these are artificial expenses that have nothing to do with the technology. Like, there's some really good technology out there that, while it's a closed ecosystem, you could potentially bank a lot of people with. But the reason you don't do it is because just regulation and laws are so expensive that if you're not making or depositing a certain amount of money into that bank account, it makes no sense to bank you, basically. Mm-hmm. And so while, I hear a lot of conversation at the UN level, initiatives to bank the unbanked, but at the same time, they're pushing just more and more requirements that make it more and more expensive to basically service these customers. You can't do it. So I think it's going to take a tremendous will on behalf of, all of us to actually bank the unbanked. And I mean, not only, the technology is there. I think with Lightning, the unique thing you can do is that depending on where you sit on the fence with the conversation, you can basically provide the Lightning as code, right? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. In which people can actually bank themselves. It's a very tough proposition, but it could be done. I think if we're still at that level in, let's say, 5 years, I see it very difficult for it to bank the unbanked. But so we really need a big push, I think, from individuals, to talk to their politicians and say, listen, are we really doing this? Are we really condemning, 70% of the population to no financial inclusion?
Yeah. And what's the big difference then between seeing Bitcoin as an asset or when it's legal tender, like in El Salvador?
Well, the main difference is tax and accounting wise. I think it doesn't really affect it. Like, the problem with using Bitcoin has never been its legality. Well, for the most part, the mechanical use of Bitcoin. Mm-hmm. It's always been like, how am I going to get treated at tax time? Now, being legal tender makes, basically does away with those decisions. You can just carry Bitcoin on the books. You'll have no issue with it. If it goes down, if it goes up, it doesn't really matter. In terms of reporting, you don't have to pay tax either way. But here in other jurisdictions like Guatemala, the U.S., where you have to figure out a way to put it into your balance sheet. Mm-hmm. It only applies if you're really an institution, I think. At a personal level, it doesn't matter that much.
Doesn't matter much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And your chief strategy officer, Alvaro Sol, is from El Salvador. And I heard him say once that Bitcoin Lightning is the reason he came back to El Salvador, and that there's an opportunity for a generation now. So thanks to Bitcoin, there's now an incentive to come back or stay. And you talked about the problems with brain drain, meaning losing talented people to other countries. With more possibilities. In what way are Bitcoin and Lightning solution to this problem?
Well, so for example, in terms of let's say a country like El Salvador that adopts it, it might, bring some people into El Salvador that, had gone away, like Alvaro. But I think it's kind of like a double-edged sword, for states, countries, because how I see it is this way. Right now, we have this supranational entity called the internet, where you live globally. I go to weird websites, right? One of those weird websites, it's 9gag. 9gag, I don't know if you're familiar with it. Yeah. It's a German site originally, but everything that happens in 9gag, or most everything, is done in English, and you get posts from people all over the world. And to me, it's really interesting how that community, if you can call it that, because it's just a bunch of weird people hanging out, making memes, right?
Yeah.
It's but how it is a huge melting pot, right, of people from all over the world. And so I think the internet really is that. And the big issue with the internet, I say, before Bitcoin, it always had difficulty monetizing products and services. But now the internet has some money. And with Lightning, now Bitcoin has a payment service, right?
Yeah.
So what I see happening right now is there's actually a brain drain into the internet, into Bitcoin. That's kind of why I think Bitcoin already won, because the amount of talent that I see flowing into this space every single day.
Yeah.
Guys like yourselves, Laptop Man, Peter McCormack, who we were just talking about, very bright individuals, Andreas Antonopoulos, Michael Saylor, and such a diverse also group of individuals that are just flocking to this space.
Yeah.
And so
not only getting paid for it, but also a lot of the guys doing it voluntarily, right? That's also something that I really see.
Yeah. And you hit the nail on the head there, Stef, because I used to believe that human capital chased financial capital. But I don't think that's the case anymore. I think because human capital, they do things, or you do things for your own reasons. And sometimes it's economic, but most of the time it's not. Most of the time it's about unleashing your creativity, whatever it may be. It's about, expressing yourself, being free, and whatever form it takes. It's different for everybody, and right now we have the freest space, which is the internet, where you can pretty much post everything, much to the chagrin of politicians worldwide. And now you have the freest money with it. And so it's attracting the most creative, most bright individuals, because creativeness and intelligence and genius, they crave freedom. Not only do they crave it, they need it. If you need, to flourish, you need freedom.
Yeah.
And that's what we have here. We have the most free space combining. And so, let's say physical jurisdiction is going to start to matter less and less and less moving forward. Now, smart jurisdictions will probably figure this out, and they will probably figure, this is a race. Do I want to have the most creative individuals? How do I attract them to this space, and you can kind of see it in places like, let's say, Texas or Tennessee here, or Miami, Wyoming. They're kind of doing it here in the U.S., but there's no reason why places in Europe cannot, as a community, come together and say, listen, we want this. And you start to see places like Lugano as well, that they don't know why exactly, they don't know how, but they're kind of like, we got to be here. And it's that, struggle for freedom, I think.
Yeah. And in the IBEX podcast you had with Esteban de la Peña and also the Alvaro Sol, 1 year ago, you said, and I quote, "Without money, you can't envision the future. You need an incentive to not only live for today, but for the future. If we attack money or the properties of money, scarcity, durability, fungibility, divisibility, and transportability, then we are attacking the bedrock on which our society is built on." A very nice quote. You made an appeal to the international regulators to stop attacking money. Is this still a big problem, do you think?
Yes, I think it's still a big problem, and I don't see it getting better. In fact, I see, attacks, increasing in frequency and also in scope. So to me, it's very worrisome. One thing I forgot to add in that quote is that money is the ultimate agent of peace, because money is what allows us to peacefully, negotiate and come together to an understanding where I can get you to do something for me that you might otherwise not feel inclined to do. And the only alternative to that peaceful resolution is violence, right? Like, I don't want to do what you want me to do. Well, here's a whip, and that's slavery. And so money comes and really breaks with that. And the great thing about Bitcoin, I think, is that it's a money for enemies, because then it doesn't matter, right? We can only transact if we're both willing to transact.
That's correct. Yeah.
But with all the laws that regulators are passing, they're doing away with this wonderful property of money, which allows enemies to transact, which allows people that don't know each other to transact, which allows for this society to flourish. Like, everything we're doing right now requires an enormous amount of money, if you come to think about it. This conversation does not happen if we don't think of money first, right? I'm not in this building, you're not in your homes. Forget about mics or satellites up in space. Those definitely don't happen if we don't have this tool where we can, accumulate a large amount of energy, of human energy, and then deploy it all at once, because that's what it's needed to move forward in civilization. And what happens when I mean regulations is laws that impede the free flow of money, right? Basically make it not fungible, make money not fungible. So now it's not money. And now you're in this situation where there's degree inequality of money, right? So for example, Stef, I challenge you to go with a bag of 100,000 euros and deposit it at your local bank and see how it goes.
I think it will end up at the police station or something.
Yeah, I think
exactly.
So.
So there's a difference between those 100,000 euros and wire 100,000 euros. It gets treated way differently, right? When it shouldn't. It should be the same.
Jose, I want to talk a little bit more about IBEX Mercado, because back at the beginning of Bitcoin Beach, El Zonte adopted Bitcoin, of course, as a payment system sometime in 2019. And it started with a donation of an anonymous person with the stipulation that the village will adopt a circular economy based on Bitcoin. And we all know that story, but can you tell us how and when IBEX Mercado first joined the project and what you exactly you guys did back then?
Yeah. Okay, absolutely. Well, we didn't join it really so much as I think at that point it was around March, and Carlillo, one of our partners, found out that Peter McCormack was down there, and he just said, he and Alvaro took like the weekend. They did a road trip down to El Zonte to see if they could like meet him or something, and ended up hanging out. Met all of the people, wonderful people at Bitcoin Beach, and that's basically the start of the relationship. And then it's just two Lightning companies that kind of know each other and worked in the same space geographically for a bit.
Yeah.
But they have their own approach to stuff. That we know Nicholas very well over there, who's kind of the lead in Galoy and Bitcoin Beach, and they had this wonderful wallet for people from El Zonte to use.
Yeah, and can you give us more insights about the relationships between IBEX Mercado and Galo Money to start this project?
Well, really, they did it all on their own. Like when we got to El Salvador, they pretty much had their wallet ready to go. It did give us, though, this kind of insight into, okay, there's this great wallet, but you still need people to go spend it. And where we focused on was getting merchants and, especially corporations to be comfortable to accept Bitcoin. And that's basically the solution we built for El Salvador initially.
And how does it work when IBEX onboards new merchants? How do you help them to understand the benefits of accepting Lightning?
Well, in El Salvador, it was fairly easy because it wasn't do you want to accept Bitcoin or not. It was more you have to accept Bitcoin, and here's a way to do it. When you go outside of El Salvador, it gets a little bit more complicated, and it's really one of the toughest things you have to do, or we have to do as a community right now, because it's a chicken and egg situation where the merchants don't want to accept Bitcoin because nobody is spending it, and then the people don't want to adopt Bitcoin because they can't spend it anywhere, and so you're stuck in this weird limbo. What we do, the value proposition we tell clients is, if you're staying Bitcoin, it'll be less expensive by far. So, we charge anywhere between 0.5 and 0.7% for our merchant solution, which is really low when you compare it to credit cards. Then you explain other benefits that they might not see immediately. Like, for example, there's no chargebacks, right? And depending on the industry you're in, chargebacks might be a huge issue.
Yeah.
Especially if you have PayPal, because PayPal doesn't care. They will just side with the customer. So chargebacks, and then the idea of keeping it in Bitcoin is, depending on where you are, could be attractive, right? Have this thing where you're not going to get 100% of your sales anyway, so you don't have to worry about that. Is it going to be 5%? Maybe if it's a lot, 10%. So you can just start doing that as a way to like save in Bitcoin, right?
Yeah. Hey, and what Lightning implementation do you use at IBEX Mercado? Do you run your own node physically, or with virtual servers, or in the cloud? Or
well, the implementation we use software-wise is L&D. So we have a really good relationship with Lightning Labs. We think they're doing like amazing work there. It also gets a lot of headaches out of the way as well, because what we're trying to do is kind of taking that technology out of the lab and putting it into production. What this means is we got to develop a technology that is secure, reliable, scalable, and high availability. And to do this right now, we're running our infrastructure on the AWS servers, where we have on our roadmap, to move to a multi-cloud setup with even our own self-hosted servers. But that's way down the line right now for, let's call it ease of implementation. We're going with AWS, but it does pose a security threat. We know this, and we're working on ways to resolve it.
Redundancy is, of course, important. And I was also curious, IBEX Digital Wealth Manager is a service for ultra-high net worth individuals and institutions. Unfortunately, we could not find more information about it.
Because we are not ultra-high net worth individuals.
Of course. But of course, what you provide could be interesting, the services. Is it called storage or yield or something, or something else?
Well, actually, it's weird to say this, but the core of our service there is actually education, but it's a particular, very, very specific type. We got this wonderful ex-city wealth manager to join IBEX, and he's running that division. It's so we explain the value proposition of Bitcoin, and once one of these high net worth or ultra high net worth individuals decides to actually put it on their balance sheet or incorporate it as an investable asset, then we can also guide them through the purchase process. We can provide that service, but then we also work with partners to do custody, to bring a custody solution. Inheritance is a big issue when you're talking about multiple millions of dollars that you're going to have in an asset. So how do you do that succession planning? And then we also are working with hedge funds in New York that have hedge investment vehicles if you want exposure to the asset or not. And the reason why it's not really out there or you cannot really find out a lot of it in the internet is this is a very white glove service, person to person. It's geared for individuals with over $50 million in investable assets. So
that's a lot.
It's its very own beast, But to us, it's a way to bring big corporate leaders into these.
Yeah, that's also important.
So orange pilling all the way, not only merchants, but only high net worth people. Nice. Hey, and do you have more on-chain transactions than Lightning on a monthly basis?
We have way more Lightning transactions.
And what are the percentages? Do you know that?
If I had to put a percentage, it'd be somewhere around 90% Lightning transactions.
Oh, really?
And honestly, for day-to-day operations, we think Lightning is definitely the way to go.
Cool.
You don't really want to do on-chain.
No. You only want to do Lightning, right?
And for a lot of reasons, not just the quickness, but also because the thing is, you cannot pay a Lightning invoice wrongly. So from the customer experience, it brings a way superior customer experience. Because imagine you pay for something, right? And for some reason, it's a non-chain payment. You send the wrong amount, either more or less. The merchant, is in the set, has to either figure out a way to refund you, or you have to figure out a way to complete your payment to actually get the product or service, both of which suck.
Yeah.
Big time, especially on-chain. But with Lightning, because the invoice has an amount tied to it, or most of the time you can put an amount to that invoice, then it's very easy because it's a pass-fail test, right? Either you paid it in full or you didn't pay it at all. And you always have your funds. So, Lightning is just superior.
Yeah, the email.
Yeah, it just makes it easy. It makes it foolproof,
Cool.
Well, we heard the gong a while ago, and we had a lot of more questions, but we'll get to that in the after talk, because after this recording, we just hit record again, and then we just talk a little bit longer. But another time, another day, it would be great to do a show again with you, Jose.
Thank you, Jose.
Absolutely.
Yeah, really.
Thanks.
世界をつなぐ
Time flies when you're having fun. Well, we have actually one question left for you, Jose. It was a question we recorded with Nitesh, an open source developer who just started working at Foundry Digital, and we asked him to come up with a question for you. Edward will play the audio file, and then you may answer it.
Sure. So here's my question for him. So how do Bitcoiners promote the use of Lightning in the digital economy? Like maybe a little bit in the shitcoin space also, right? Like, for example, OpenSea can integrate Lightning where they, NFTs are sold and bought. Like a lot of things can be pegged to Lightning in the digital space, but we haven't done so much in that space. Why is that?
Yeah.
Okay. I think that was a two-part question. I'll take it from back to front, if you will. In the back, why isn't more being done? I think it is. It's just a lot of behind-the-scenes work. I think a lot of Bitcoin and Lightning developers and companies are a little bit more conservative than, other coins or other cryptos, where, we don't necessarily announce what we're working on immediately. We kind of want to test it out, see if it works, and then we go out and make an announcement. So I think that is one thing. But the other one, how to promote it, honestly, at this point, I think grassroots level promotion is the most effective and best way. If we can get people that like Bitcoin, people that own Bitcoin, to just start spending in Satoshis. And I'm not saying take the Satoshis you have stored and spend them. You have a bunch of services where you can just put in $100 that you're going to spend today, or 100 euros you're going to spend today, and go to your local neighborhood bars, coffee shops, bakeries, whatever, and say, do you accept Bitcoin? Why don't you accept Bitcoin? I want to pay you in Bitcoin. And the more people we have, doing that call, asking their merchants to accept Bitcoin, then the merchants will get interested and say, oh, I got a bunch of people asking me if maybe this is a way to drive revenue to my business, I think that's the best thing we can do right now.
Yeah. And next time we have Desiree Dickerson as our guest. She's the CEO of Thunder Games. We want to ask her also a question from you. Do you have a question for her?
Yeah, absolutely. How do you explain the Lightning Network to a 5-year-old?
That's going to be a great one. Yeah.
We will use it very often, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so.
Connecter le monde.
Hey, thanks again, Jose. It was a very interesting talk, and I think you guys at IBEX are doing a great job. And again, I'm very happy to drink a beer with you in Amsterdam in October.
We'll definitely do that. Yeah,
we will definitely do it.
Yeah, looking forward to it, Stef and Edward, and we'll continue the conversation there at the very least.
Sure, sure. And where can people follow you? And do you have maybe a Twitter account or a website or something where people can find you?
Absolutely. Follow us. Me personally, you can follow at JLLEMUS. That's JL Lemus, which is my last name. You can follow at IBEX Mercado. You can also check out our new websites, ibexpay.io and poweredbyibex.io.
Nice.
All right. Nice. Yeah. Well, thanks for listening, and thanks to all members participating in the Satoshi Radio Rings of Fire. And of course, thanks to everyone helping us to connect the world together. And if you like our content, then please support us in our mission. Visit our website, connecttheworld.live, where you can also donate and subscribe, like, and share our content on your favorite platform or put Podcasting 2.0. And we need you to complete our mission, connect the world. So keep those notes running, sats flowing, and rings burning. And see you all next week with Daisy Ray at the same Lightning channel. Tot ziens, Jose.
Gemist.
Hey, very nice to meet you.